Your gut and your nervous system are the same system. When your nervous system is stuck in survival mode, your gut receives one message: not now, we are in crisis. No supplement, no diet, and no medication can override that signal. Until you regulate your nervous system, your gut cannot fully heal. In the next few minutes, I'm going to explain why nervous system regulation is foundational for IBD, introduce you to EFT, and show you why this simple technique has become non-negotiable in my daily routine. You have addressed the gut directly: diets, supplements, medications, but something keeps blocking your progress. That something is likely your nervous system stuck in a stressed state that tells your gut to stay on high alert. You cannot heal in survival mode. I am Dr. Rachel Sarah Brown. I'm trained in EFT and I use it daily, both personally and with clients. After everything I tried for my own gut issues, this practice made a bigger difference than most of the supplements I took. I now consider it essential. I'm going to explain the gut-nervous system connection, introduce EFT and how it works, and show you why this belongs in your daily routine. Your gut and your nervous system are directly connected. The vagus nerve connects your brain directly to your gut. It's a two-way communication highway. When your brain perceives threat, it signals your gut through the vagus nerve. Blood flow shifts away from digestion, motility changes, enzyme production can drop, and barrier function weakens. The gut receives the message: survival first, digestion later. This is not a metaphor, it's your anatomy. Your nervous system state directly determines how your gut functions moment to moment. Your gut is not separate from stress. Your gut is your stress. They're wired together. There are even changes to the microbiome that happen in relation to psychological stress, so it's impossible to separate stress from the gut. And I see this clinically every day. People flare after stressful events, not food changes. They feel their gut tighten before difficult conversations. They notice urgency when anxiety rises. The connection is not subtle, and once you see it, you cannot unsee it. The gut responds to nervous system state in real time. Think of your vagus nerve like a telephone line between headquarters, the brain, and the factory floor, the gut. When headquarters is calm, the factory runs smoothly. When headquarters screams emergency, the factory shuts down non-essential operations. Digestion is non-essential in an emergency. Your gut stops working properly because it received orders from above. Notice the connection in your own body. Does your gut respond to stress? Do symptoms worsen during difficult periods? Do you feel your digestion change when you're anxious? None of that is coincidence. That is the vagus nerve at work. But understanding the connection is not enough. You need a way to change the signal. You've been told to relax, reduce stress, manage anxiety. But chronic stress is not a thinking problem. It's a nervous system pattern. Your body has learned to stay in survival mode as a default. Telling yourself to relax does not change that pattern. Willpower does not override physiology. You need a tool that directly communicates with the nervous system and shifts it out of sympathetic dominance. That is what EFT does. You cannot think your way out of a stress response. You have to signal your way out. Clients tell me they know they should relax, but they cannot. They try meditation and their mind races. They try breathing and feel more anxious. This is not failure. It's a sign that the nervous system is locked in a pattern that requires direct intervention. Generic relaxation advice fails because it does not address the stuck pattern. EFT works because it sends specific signals that interrupt the stress response at a physiological level. Plus, it seems to work at an energetic level in the body, which is possibly why I like it so much. Energy, frequency, and vibration all matter for our nervous system, for our thoughts, for our fascia. So what exactly is EFT and how does it work? EFT stands for Emotional Freedom Technique. It involves tapping on specific acupressure points on the face and body while focusing on a stressful thought, feeling, or sensation. The tapping sends calming signals through the meridian system to the amygdala, reducing the intensity of the stress response. Research shows that EFT can reduce cortisol levels, decrease anxiety, and shift the nervous system towards parasympathetic or rest and digest state. It's simple, fast, and something you can do anywhere. And once you learn it, it can be incredibly powerful as a tool at your disposal. Tapping can look strange, but it works anyway. The research supports it, and my clinical experience confirms it. Identify what is stressing you. So that could be a thought, it could be a feeling, it could be a physical sensation, or a specific situation. And I want you to rate that intensity from 0 to 10, 10 being the most intense of an experience that you can think of. How much distress is it causing you? If it is causing a lot, that would be towards 10 on the scale. We then create a setup statement, and it goes something like this. Even though I have this problem, so insert problem, so that could be, even though I have this flare, I completely love and accept myself. And you say this 3 times while tapping here. So this point on your hand, and it doesn't matter which hand, it could be either side. So even though I have this flare, I completely love and accept myself. If that second statement is just too intense for you, which it can be for some people, you could use something to the effect of, even though I have this flare, I am open to my body recovering. Even though I have this flare, I am open to change and moving forward. So ideally, we want to tap through the different points while staying focused on the specific issue that you're having. And then you reassess the intensity after you've done the tapping. And you basically repeat the cycle until the intensity drops significantly. And so I'm going to show you the different tapping points for EFT. So we have side of the hand, that's when you do the setup statement. You then go to top of the eyebrow, and you want to be tapping fairly firmly. You want to be able to feel it. Side of the eye, under the eye, just above the lip, under the chin, on the collarbone, so just towards the center of your chest, just on your collarbone, then under the arm, and then the final point, probably one of my favorite, is top of the head. And it can be helpful to make your hand in that kind of shape, just top of the head. And then what you do is, as you tend to want to speak as you're going through the different tapping points. And then you just swap sides and go through the different points that I just showed you. So tapping on the acupressure point sends signals to the brain. The amygdala receives calming input while the stressor is activated, and this breaks the association between the trigger and the stress response. Cortisol then drops and parasympathetic activation increases, so we're trying to get your nervous system into that rest and digest state. The pattern shifts at a physiological level, and actually from my personal experience has been that if you're able to spend 20 minutes, possibly even longer doing a tapping session, you can actually come out of a session feeling in a completely different energy state to what you went into it. And research in EFT shows significant reductions in cortisol, the primary stress hormone. So studies demonstrate effectiveness for anxiety, PTSD, phobias, and chronic stress, but there can also be benefits in physical health illnesses as well. And I just want to be clear, this is not fringe practice, it's evidence-based. I had some skepticism before I was trained, but the results have really changed my life and changed my illness or symptom course. So I use it daily. But why does this specifically matter for IBD, you might be wondering? If you want to learn more about how your nervous system affects your gut, subscribe. I cover this connection in depth every week. So here's the connection. IBD is not just an immune condition. It's a condition where your nervous system is almost always involved. Chronic inflammation creates chronic stress. Chronic stress worsens inflammation, and then the cycle reinforces itself. Breaking the cycle requires direct intervention on the nervous system, not just the gut. EFT can be that intervention. It can downregulate the stress response that is feeding your inflammation. It can lower cortisol and it shifts your body out of the survival mode that prevents healing. Now, it's not a replacement for other treatment, and it's not a treatment solely on its own, but it is the foundation and can be the foundation that allows other interventions to work. You've been treating your gut while ignoring the nervous system that controls it. EFT addresses the control center. It reduces cortisol that drives the inflammation, and it can crucially shift the nervous system from sympathetic to parasympathetic. It supports gut motility and digestive function and reduces the emotional load of living with chronic illness. It can also address the anxiety and fear that often accompanies IBD. It creates the physiological conditions where healing can start to begin. In my own healing journey, EFT was the practice that made the biggest difference beyond foundations. I tried supplements, different diets, protocols, They helped, but I kept flaring due to nervous system dysregulation. Nervous system dysregulation is also an underlying driver of mast cell activation, which I have had. And mast cells are immune cells that can become activated and dysregulated in IBD. So when I started regulating my nervous system daily with EFT, my stress resilience increased, my flares decreased, and my gut stabilized in a way that it had not before. The other interventions started working better because my nervous system was no longer blocking them. So before meals, what you can do is tap to shift into parasympathetic state for better digestion. During anxiety flares or worries about symptoms, you can tap to reduce the intensity of those worries. And when you're anticipating stressful situations, you can tap to build resilience. Probably one of my favorite things is just after a long, difficult day, you can tap to process and downregulate some of the memories and associations that have been built up over the course of that day. And when flare anxiety rises, you can tap to break the fear-flare cycle. So how do you actually make this a daily practice? It's important to say that EFT works through consistency, not occasional use. A daily practice retrains your nervous system over time. It builds a new default. And just remember, most of us haven't arrived at the stage of being symptomatic just overnight. That process has taken time to build, usually over many years. I'm not saying EFT takes years by any means, but don't expect everything to be fixed just within one session. You need to practice it. Instead of living at a constant stress level of 7 that spikes to 10, you can start living at a 4 with occasional rises to 6. Obviously, everyone is different. And I know some people who manage to get down to a stress level of 1 or 2, which is fantastic. That difference is everything for your gut. Your baseline determines your resilience, and daily EFT lowers the baseline in terms of stress levels. So one session helps in the moment, but daily practice can change your nervous system set point. One thing you could do is in the morning, do just 5 to 10 minutes of EFT. And that's what I sometimes do. I have to say I'm not religious about it. I'm not perfect, so I don't always manage it every day. But certainly during more difficult times, it has been beneficial to me to get that 5 to 10 minutes in the morning. It can help to address any residual stress or anticipatory anxiety before the day starts. You can use it during the day, so say around midday, if you notice stress rising, you can use it, or before meals particularly. One thing I like to do is to ground before meals, so physical contact with the earth. That can help to regulate your nervous system as well. But doing a quick round of EFT tapping can also help to shift into the parasympathetic rest and digest state. And so if you're going to be eating, you need to be in the rest and digest nervous system state. And then in the evening, which is probably my favorite, you can process the day, clear any accumulated tension as needed. And then you can also use EFT just as required. And once you learn it, you can't unlearn it. So it's something at your disposal at any time. So what I would suggest is begin with one session per day, ideally in the morning so you don't forget. Start with 5 minutes. That's enough to shift your state. Focus on whatever is most present, a worry, a physical sensation, a general sense of stress. You can actually tap on pain, and that's something that you can learn to do as well. Don't judge the content, just tap and let the intensity reduce. Build consistency before adding more sessions. Most people get this wrong in a few key ways that are worth mentioning. So waiting until you're extremely stressed to use it is actually better to use it daily before a crisis. Expecting one session to fix everything, that doesn't generally happen. It's cumulative. The benefits are cumulative. Some people feel silly because it can look a bit unusual when you first start and they end up stopping it. Well, if you're not doing anything to move yourself forward, nothing's going to change. And it may look strange, but it works anyway. Not being specific enough about what you're tapping on. So you have to be really specific about what it is you want to work on during your EFT session. Is it physical pain? Is it a worry? Is it a certain emotion? And you can talk through different themes as you go. This is something that you can learn over time. But just as an introduction tonight, I want you to do this. Learn the basic tapping points. Watch a quick tutorial or refer to what I've already mentioned before. And if you'd like me to make a video going through a full cycle of EFT, let me know in the comments. You do not need to be perfect. Approximate points work. Over time, you just get to learn the points. The tapping motion and focus attention are really what matters. So do one round right now after finishing watching this. Identify something that's stressing you. It can be anything. Rate it between 0 to 10. Say, even though I feel, insert stress, I accept myself. And you say that in your setup statement while you're tapping this point on either hand. Do that 3 times. Tap through and then tap through each point while staying focused on the feeling, and then reassess. Notice if the number has dropped after your session. So why don't you commit to 5 minutes tomorrow morning? Set an alarm or attach it to an existing habit. So for example, before you check your phone, choose to do a tapping session. Focus on whatever feels most present. This is your nervous system hygiene. Use it before meals this week. Before eating, just take 60 seconds to tap. It's especially important to do it then if you have any fear due to past flares. And believe me, I know what that feels like. Focus on arriving in a calm state. Notice if your digestion feels different, and then track the connection. Notice your stress levels each day. Your nervous system is running a stress pattern. That pattern directly impacts your gut. EFT can interrupt that pattern and create a new one. Daily practice compounds over time, and over weeks and months, your baseline stress levels drop. Your resilience increases, and your gut then has the conditions it needs to heal. This is not about relaxation as a luxury. It's about changing the signal your nervous system sends to your gut every day. I spent years treating my gut while ignoring my nervous system. When I finally addressed the nervous system directly through EFT, everything changed. My stress resilience increased, my flares decreased, and the other interventions, crucially, that I was already doing started working better. EFT is now non-negotiable in my daily routine. It takes minutes, it costs nothing, and it addresses the control center that determines whether your gut can heal. You cannot supplement your way out of a dysregulated nervous system. You have to regulate it directly, and this is one great way to do that. If you want to understand the other foundational tool I use alongside EFT, watch my video on stem cell activation and phototherapy. It covers how light and cellular signaling support the same healing process. Click the link around this video and watch that one next.